The access space is very diverse. I would say that over the last half a decade, been working in Nigeria specifically, we've seen that there are different types of solutions that have been introduced to provide access to electricity, all the way from like the grid itself to something little as a solar lantern or solar home system. And when we went ahead into the market to really try and see how we can build what we call our net zero villages, we really learned a lot on the educational perspective, right? So if you think about an average school in Nigeria or within our net zero villages has thousands of students, relatively young people who are trying to learn, and they don't have access to like computers. There's no access to just basic lighting, and even if there is access to those appliances, it's also for a limited time because they haven't got 24-hour access to power. So that limitation affects the quality of education that they get. If they're taking homework home, they have to use like lanterns to do those homeworks. There's no most of the time there's no lights at home, so actually studying during after school hours is very difficult for those students as well. So it affects a lot of things within the educational layer. Schools don't actually have generators, or they can't even afford to turn on those generators, considering the high price of diesel at the moment. So I think taking all this into consideration is actually very important to get electricity to schools specifically, because they can improve the educational outcome of that school. There's more students that can use computers. They can do homework after school hours, and I think that brings it all together. If you were to deploy something in areas with limited infrastructure, you would have to get something that's decentralized, which means it doesn't have to rely on a single source of power, and can actually generate energy from any location. Within the context of how PAM thinks, we believe that for an area with limited infrastructure, especially where you consider education, we prioritize solar energy because we have abundance of sunlight in Nigeria specifically. So we always prioritize solar energy, and there's different scales of solar energy systems. So you can have all the way to large scale infrastructure, mini grid systems, which can go up to 1 megawatt in generation supply. But that same technology can be filtered down all the way to a simple solar light, which could be used for after work hours, or a small level, let's say a mesh grid, or a small level systems that could be used within the schools for powering the computers, the lighting, and all the other teaching appliances required.